Welcome to the Instagram stories for Tuesday, September 5th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. On Mondays, we normally talk about what the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, shared on his Ask Me Anything. We're going to do that today on Tuesday. First, we're going to do the threads questions, and then we'll get to some other features of Instagram and discuss. The first question has to do with the ability to search on threads. The question, how come I can't search on threads? Here's his answer.
We just started testing search in English in Australia and in New Zealand, and if that works out, we'll fast follow in other English-speaking countries around the world, including the US, while we in parallel work on support for searching posts on threads in more languages.
It's really funny, this conversation, because search is something we take for granted. When Twitter and Instagram first launched, you didn't have the ability to search the way we do today and the way we expect to be able to do on social media apps. You had to look for things via hashtags. That was a very difficult concept because you had to search only by using hashtags. So it makes sense that we would expect to have a full-featured search the way we have on Instagram and Twitter today. The next question, when are we getting the edit button for threads? Once you write a thread, you might want to change the language. Maybe you made a typo. Maybe you thought of a better way to say what you just wrote. Having an edit button makes sense. However, Twitter charges for the ability to edit your tweets. Here's his answer.
We're working on it. Lots of things to improve, trying to get search out the door, trying to improve ranking, trying to improve the Instagram integrations. But the edit button is on the list. We've got good designs for it, so keep an ear out.
Okay, let's move on from the threads topic and talk about subscriptions. Now, I personally have struggled with the concept of subscriptions because typically people use subscriptions on Instagram as a way of putting certain kinds of content behind a paywall. So if you are a fan, you can enjoy the regular content that they post normally. But if you want access to special content, niche content, whatever, in that case, then you pay a subscription. That's typically how it's worked. However, Adam gives some good ideas for subscriptions that don't work that way at all.
Yeah, actually, a lot of creators, we were just talking about this earlier today, are interested in subscriptions, but then they don't really think about what the offering there is going to be that's going to actually be compelling for people not only to subscribe, but to stay subscribed. So I would just really make sure you go in intentional about what your long-term plan is. Now, it could be as lightweight as like, look, I'm not going to produce any exclusive content. This is just a way to support me, opt in, sort of generosity style, but just be explicit about that up front. Or think about how you might engage in a regular way that doesn't create a ton of extra work for you, whether that's through chats or stories, or if you want to go all the way to like exclusive long videos and feed.
I can't believe that in all my years of talking about Instagram, I never thought of just making a subscription and just saying, hey, it exists. I'm not making any special content for it. If you want to pay, that would be super nice. That's what he described in that video that he made. I never thought of doing it that way, but I really, really like that concept. If you do that, or you know someone who does that, send me a message because I would really like to talk about that. Maybe have you or whoever you know does that come on the show and talk about it. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about broadcast channels, disappearing DMs, and being able to rearrange carousels. So stick around.
This podcast is brought to you by AT&T Fiber with All-Fi. Whether you're into watching horror movies from your basement, watching sports from your backyard, or watching trashy reality shows from inside your car that's parked all the way in the driveway so no one in your family judges you, AT&T Fiber with All-Fi is the best way to watch whatever you want from wherever you are.
Get AT&T Fiber with All-Fi and add some Wi-Fi square footage to your house. Limited availability in select areas. Go to att.com/hypergig to check eligibility. Coverage requires extenders at additional charge.
And we're back. The next question has to do with Vanish Mode. If you're not familiar, Vanish Mode is inside the Instagram DMs. You turn it on by swiping up inside the DM conversation. And then once the recipient has read the message you've sent, the message disappears, similar to the way Snapchat works. The question, I accidentally made my DMs disappearing. How do I switch them back? Here's his answer.
You turned on what's called Vanish Mode. Now, Vanish Mode basically means all your DMs will disappear after a certain period of time. You can do it on a per thread basis, but the way you turn it on and turn it back off is you drag your thread up from the bottom until you see a little indicator that says turn Vanish Mode on, and it'll switch for you.
All right, let's move on to the next question, which has to do with broadcast channels. Now, Adam Mosseri uses broadcast channels a lot. I like them, but I wish there was a way to have more of a conversation in the broadcast channel, because all recipients can do is respond through an emoji or vote in a poll, but they can't do anything else to respond to a broadcast channel. There's no conversation. Broadcast channels are a one-way communication method. The question, how do I make my own channel? Here's his answer.
Sure. If you have a creator account, you just go to your inbox, you hit the little new chat button on the top. I'm not sure what to call it. It looks like a little pen with a pencil. And one of the options will be create a new channel.
Okay, that is going to do it for all the AMAs that we have from Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram. I'm going to post some new content tomorrow. Everyone in our area who has kids, the kids are going back to school tomorrow. And when this happens, my feed is full of kids with their first day of school pictures. When I was in school, my mom would make me and my sister do the exact same back to school pictures, except they just lived on the camera because back then Instagram didn't exist. However, my sister and I made our own creative twist on the back to school photo. My wife was nice enough to take the picture and coordinate the video. So I'm going to post that tomorrow. Definitely check it out. I think you're going to like it. As always, thank you so much for listening, and be sure to come back tomorrow for more Instagram news, TikTok news, social media strategy, other things I think are important that you need to know.
Instagram news got you covered, sometimes even TikTok. Relevant platforms in the metaverse ahead of the wave, without a break or a pit stop. Still waiting for Zuckerberg to give me the big job. Pause. Use trademarks and logos with Insta's permission, of course. If you like the show and you gain some good info, maybe leave a review. It's a type of applause. Just drop me a message if you want to collab. If you got some good content or you want to run ads, at Daniel Hill Media is where I am. TikTok, Facebook and Instagram.